All right, guys, sorry for the delay. We had a little bit of a kerfuffle. The meeting tablet that runs the big camera seems to have the flu, so we're just going to be on audio today. If at any point John or Alyssa or anybody who, well, I guess you wouldn't hear me now if you're anyone else, but if you can't hear us or it's quiet, just chime in and we will pipe up, or I can move my laptop closer to who's speaking. That said, we're 9 minutes behind, so we're gonna jump in and start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and get cruising. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so to everyone, our new trustee here is Miss Hope Edwards. She will be with us for a couple of years, as long as we don't scare her off.
Welcome. Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, congrats and happy to have you. All right. So we'll do things in a little bit of a different order today because it's our annual meeting. So we will call the annual meeting to order and then go through the reauthorization of procedures. Last year we did it the quick way. We didn't make any major changes, so we didn't go through them line by line. If anyone has any questions about the procedures, we can discuss them. The only thing I had noted that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is the rules for public comment. They do explicitly say you need to, stand, introduce yourself. You have 3 minutes, but also that it's for new issues. Thus far, we haven't held to that. We've kind of let Jay repeat himself most meetings. I'm gonna make an effort to not do that because if it's the same thing every month, it's a waste of time. We actually did use that rule to shut down the people who wanted us to formally contest the election that were from Brownville. We also told them you're not from town, so we don't have to keep doing this. But I'm going to try and be consistent with that and, hold us to actually following that because it can be, I think, a waste of time.
I do think too, we talked about in that last month's meeting, there's like little timer things that we could get so that that side knows when their 3 minutes
Yeah.
starts. We don't always need to do that, but once in a while there are, I want to say maybe once or twice in the last couple of years where we've had.
It'd probably be nice to just do it by default because it always feels a little like putting someone on the spot when we're like, you in particular have 3 minutes. And so I think if we just have a little shot clock,
So people would.
yeah, they're probably like $10 on Amazon. I'm down to get one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That would be my only addition.
But beyond that, guys, we haven't made any changes. I think during budgeting, we can talk about adjusting the split of our what is it there? The building and vehicle. What do we call that? Starts with a C. Fund.
I know what you're talking.
Carryover capital fund? Capital funds. I was like, carryover is not the right word. But the policies don't explicitly talk about that. That's a budget thing. So if everybody's okay with it, I'll make a motion to reauthorize all of our policies in one go, and just noting that there is no change from last year's policies.
I will second that.
All right. Any other questions about them before we vote on it? Peg, do you need that to be roll call or can we just vote?
You could just vote there are changes to the.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. We'll move on to the annual appointments. There's a long sheet here. There's only been a few changes. Some of them have already occurred. So I'll go through them. The zoning board has a new chair, Frank Reynolds, and new members, Bill Studley and Karen Carbone. Betsy Reagan is reappointed as the Housing Authority Chair. She said if anyone else is interested, she would be happy to let them help, but I told her she was running unopposed for this office no one wants to take. And then Christine Eggleston also agreed to be reappointed to her seat on the Housing Authority. I believe those are the only changes. Peg, am I missing any?
The entire military cemetery.
Yeah, Donnie spoke for him, said everyone's still active and interested in staying on. Oh, joint rec, Christina moved to Albany, so we should pull her off of there just to make a
And
note.
now Boba's not on there either. She moved.
Okay. Did we replace them or is that just that part we did? Okay.
Thank you for that. At least somebody knows.
Katie Downey replaced.
Oh, perfect.
Say that again?
Katie Downey replaced
Oh,
Janelle.
okay. Uh-huh. And who replaced Christina?
Um, All the Allen boys replaced Jared Brown.
Have it, Brian? Yeah, Alan. Okay.
So Max, me, Katie,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Oh, I believe it's you. Yeah. Right. Cool. That's the list. Yep. Jeff's. Cool.
We need
Courtney
to,
Brown to Christina's.
we just need a village rep on there. Cause they haven't had one since.
We don't have on the board. It's Max Mason. He's back. And he's on there.
Yes.
We need a board rep. A
Oh,
village
sure,
board
sure.
rep.
That, yeah, you're right. We talked
They
about that.
haven't had a village board rep
So,
since,
Um,
Ron left.
Kelly and I were talking about this and she is willing to do it, although it's up to you guys if anyone else thinks they'd be more something you would like to do. I think it's probably not the right position for Hope being brand new. But if neither of you guys
My
are,
thinking is they've done a couple of budget things that have been out of line that somebody from our board needs to keep them, making sure that they're like things that they've purchased, committed to
they've
without.
kind of asked after the
Yeah,
fact
they've done
and
it
they pushed the
backwards.
line
We've
on stuff we
asked
would
them
have
a couple
probably
of
pushed
times
back on.
to switch that. And a lot of the money that they were given, they really prioritized school items instead of kids. Our village rec budget is supposed to be for village children. So that
It's
they
probably
have.
not just through the school.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to be for kids to have access to things and not subsidize the school budget, and it's kind of gotten a little too close to subsidizing the school budget lately, so I don't know if I'm the right person, because I'm probably gonna fight with them a little bit about what they can do and what they can't do, but that's just my own personal. I can do it if nobody else wants to do it, but I just think they need to be
Honestly,
reminded of what
it's
the budget.
probably the right move unless either of you guys feels like you
It's up
want
to
to.
you. They need to be
Fight that
reminded
fight.
of what the budget, the purpose of their budget is, and it's not to subsidize the school budget.
Yeah,
A
didn't
village
we-
resident already pays school taxes and they already pay village tax, and they're getting double dipped when the village turns around and gives them extra money.
Yeah, I mean,
Out of our
frankly,
budget.
it's just like joint rec is not supposed to be
Yeah, didn't we have?
paying
an
for
issue with,
existing stuff.
Soccer goals or
Yeah.
something very
That's,
recently?
and that was a big one
Yeah.
that they did, and
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah, and we remember we talked about like the bleachers. We were like, oh, if we can move them around and use them for other things, great.
Maybe
And if
that's what
not,
they
they're
figured
school
out.
only.
Right, maybe it was the bleachers, not the goals.
Yeah.
no, it wasn't the goal, it was the
dugouts?
cover over the.
Over-
Either way.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Regardless, I'm all about helping kids. I want them to make sure that they have access to programs, but I don't want to subsidize the school budget with a village budget. Sorry. I forgot you were sitting.
Oh,
over
yeah,
there.
well, it's not only for kids, it's for
The joint rec,
It's
yeah.
for everybody.
It's supposed to be public,
Clarification, you're
like
right.
public access
Yeah.
stuff,
Right.
not inscribed things.
Yes,
Yeah.
like the pickleball courts that we've been
Yeah.
trying to get done. So yes, all of that. But I just
Okay.
feel like we've been getting hit a lot lately for things at the school that I'm like, that's
Right.
helping the athletes that they already have a budget. Okay.
All right, but we can do
Okay.
that, so that's fine. But otherwise, these are all like official appointments, so I think that list is good, otherwise.
Okay, so Kelly's gonna. be
I
there,
can if
right?
that's what you
Yep.
want.
Cool.
Yeah, because Jeff was asking the last meeting who was gonna be.
He texted me yesterday and I told him I
Cool.
don't know.
All right, thanks, Courtney. All right, I don't think do we vote to approve the appointments? Okay, cool. Well, then I guess someone else should make the motion since I'm doing the appointments, but
I'll make the motion. The appointments for coming year.
All right,
I'll second.
all in favor? All righty. Anything else before we close the annual meeting?
You did not mention, all of the other things that have to be presented, the authorization of payments.
Yeah, so we did that in the previous vote was to reauthorize all of the existing policies that have not changed. So that's the coin deposit investment full list.
We did it all in one.
Yep.
All in one vote.
Very good.
Yep. All right. So we'll jump over to the meeting minutes for last month, which is after all the policy docs. So it's a little bit further down.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Cool. All right, next up, we will jump into our first public comments. We'll start with people in the room. Any, and then move on to Zoom. If you are public commenting, you are still muted. All right, we'll come back around if you change your mind. Close public comment and move on to the treasurer's report.
So I want to be on the 13th of January, which is going to be the next. So I just want to ask, okay, from you the meeting of the 27th of January, or otherwise there's a special meeting to do my bills.
Yeah, so guys, I think because the next meeting is early in January, Belinda won't be here. She's prepped the payroll and stuff, so all that'll get done. But we do need to do some bills in the month of January. She doesn't get back until like the 21st, 20th. So it'd be tough to do it like the day after she gets back. I think the thing to do is just have essentially skip the main meeting next month, but have a special meeting to run her bills and do our first budget meeting. So we just, instead of, in that way, if people don't want to be here for a budget meeting, we're not going to vote on any other action items. It would just be paying the bills and then prepping, really are like sort of planning the rest of the budget season meeting. If that's okay with everybody, that will be the schedule plan. That doesn't seem to cause any issues with pending projects or things. This is a pretty quiet time of year.
So that would be on 27th at 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
The 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Any problems with that, Peg?
No.
Okay. Does the 27th work for everyone's schedule?
Is that a Tuesday?
I think it is the last Tuesday. And also it's because 2 weeks later is the February meeting. So if there is something that comes up that we need to deal with pretty quickly, it's not like
That'll be a
We're
long time for us.
hunting ourselves that far away.
Yeah. well,
Okay.
And then, Alex is gonna spend the ARPA funds on the credit cards, our credit cards, so I'm just gonna do a prepayment before the end of December, then for the credit cards, just to get a statement to make sure.
Yeah. This is for the access control stuff. I had to break the charge up into 3 charges. And so, because there's a limit on each card. And because it needs to be spent before the end of the year, Peg brought up that we weren't 100% sure that putting it on the credit card would count as spending. And we don't want to risk the government coming and saying you need to reimburse us because you didn't pay the bill. So we're going to put it on the card and then she's going to pay the card early before the end of the year as well.
We'll put it in the 27th bills in any way as a prepaid, but so we'll just see that.
So the total is like 78.23. I looked it up in the meeting minutes from last December. And I already have the total I spent on Peg's card, which was like 2,600. And so I've just divvied up the carts to make sure that we get the parts we need. And I'll get your card and Lynn's card to put them through as 3 separate transactions.
okay. So that takes care of ARPA.
Mhm.
Yes, so then we're done with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I have 3 months to spend with that damn website, putting in the fact that we paid it, which should only take me about 2.5 months. So,
Okay.
although I will say Eldorado's given the ARPA website a run for its money in terms of worst software we've interacted with. So, all right. Any questions for Belinda besides bills, guys?
I'll make a motion to pay this month's bills.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Anything else, Belinda? Have fun in South Africa. Get some sun for us all.
Definitely gonna need some stuff.
That would be lovely.
Bring us all back some wine. All right. Any other questions for Belinda, guys, before we move on to department reports? All right. We don't have anything to, Lynn, give you anything?
He just said he's not gonna make it, he's going out of town tomorrow, not much to report on. For last month, they've been concentrating on fall cleanup and now snow, so
Cool.
nothing urgent or pressing from him.
Sounds good. And then we'll move on to, did anyone have anything they wanted to make a note of for Lynn?
I was just gonna ask, did he mention the barracks?
Yeah, so I was gonna bring that up in mind, but I can talk about it now. In the last few days before the conveyance, they stopped taking care of plowing it, and the ice what happened is it melted enough to get like that slushy from the tires and then refreeze, so it was like chunky ice. I talked to Corey the day before the conveyance meeting and basically told him like, hey, I mentioned to you guys that like, I was like, oh, the board and the DPW is I was trying to like play the nice guy. And he had Todd go and plow it. Lynn, after I told Lynn this, he said, oh, it's still icy, which I drove over there and it was, but to my mind, there wasn't anything to do with like packed ice. There's sometimes side roads get packed down like that. When I told him that we had signed the conveyance, he was frustrated and I called him because they'd been plowing all day and he's like, oh, like the ice is gonna chip and if it screws up the plow, they should have taken care of that ahead of time. And I explained to him like, yeah, I hear you, but also like Dave Gertson's had this for a month and a half. He's known that like this is the second year that they've wanted it done. They are actually, as much as they did push it into November, they have been done since the end of October. So it's kind of been on our plate. And so we signed it. It's taken care of. It is now our problem.
Lynn was trying to prevent it to being our problem though, because the ice was like a good 2-3 inches thick
Yeah.
and they did nothing to it. And then we got hammered with snow on top of it. It's going to cause overtime because it's not up to what our road standards are, just.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize that the conveyance had gotten signed. You never got back to it, me, so I had to.
I messaged Lynn, but yeah.
Lynn had asked me and I said, I haven't heard anything, so don't touch it. So I
Yeah, I talked to him
didn't know.
Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was like, we're on it. I'm not happy about it. And then I called him. We talked for a little bit.
Yeah. They didn't do a great job. It was like a good 2-3, it was glare
Yeah,
ice.
it was-
And they could have.
It was icy, but it wasn't chunky. And I misunderstood what he was concerned about and I should have checked in with him. But at the end of the day, I was like, I don't want to get in
Pissing match.
Yeah.
That's.
I was trying to rephrase it, but yeah, I don't want to get in a pissing match with Corey for like, while the apartments people are all dealing with ice. So I was like,
Bad.
they-
I want them to have a good road, but on the
Yeah.
flip side of that, this is what we deal with them
Yep.
every time something comes up, is they browbeat us until we finally sign it and just go, whatever, we're
Yeah.
not having fun with it.
well,
I
I
feel like
and
that's what
I told him
happened.
if you can plow it, we'll get it done.
So
They did plow it. To my mind, it was like I drove on it and it was smooth. I didn't like get out and see that it was
it's.
Ice and
it
not
was
road.
thick. I don't know what it looks like
Um,
now, but,
because it wasn't chunky. And yeah, I was already apologized to Lynn. I think we're okay, but
okay, well, you took the
It's
heat for
done.
that, not me,
Yeah.
so. I'm okay.
yeah. But yeah, it is ours now. And at some point it will be not icy. Yeah.
Okay.
Long answer to a short question, I guess, but all right. Anything else to make note for DPW?
Could I ask
Mhm.
clarification on this?
Yeah.
About the barracks?
Mhm.
Who, you say they are plowing it?
We are now.
We are now. We
Part of
not
it,
before.
only a piece of it, no, because it's not ours.
That's not ours.
It was.
Part of the road is conveyed to the public now. So there's a loop that is now public
Off
road.
from Hill Street, right at the bottom of Hill Street, that corner right there.
Mhm.
We just took that piece of it.
Basically in front of Fort Pike, down to the new development and looped back around.
It's just very, which is an odd piece, I'm not gonna lie. Lynn came and
It's-
picked me
it's
up
just
from
where
it,
the
and was
fr-
like, come for a ride, let me show you.
Yeah, it's where the frontage, it's basically where the new housing is, has to be, like, the new subdivision is public roadways.
So it's a very small piece, but
Yeah.
I can see why, I don't know. It was definitely glare eyes coming off Hill Street.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely see somebody was gonna, if they took that corner sharp.
Yeah,
would've ended
and that
up
road
in-
is a little weird because like the parking, it's one of the only roads we have perpendicular parking on what is a public road. And it's like, so it's like a parking lot, public road combo. And then Fort Pike, or sorry, Victory will plow below where the cars are when their residents are gone. So it's kind of a little disjointed, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yes, coming off Hill Street, there's just a small portion of it that we just took over. The
Right.
rest of it
Yeah.
is all someone else's issue, right?
Hill Street's down there. Do you
Oh, am I
know-
using the wrong road? I'm sorry.
you're thinking of Hounsfield.
I'm thinking Hounsfield, sorry.
Not Hill.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
I
fixing me. I said the
completely,
wrong street.
yeah, I went right along with you.
Been a long day. Thank you.
Okay. I'm just listening. I live on.
Oh.
Hill.
Oh, sorry.
So when we get, not to belabor this, but when we get to the end of what we're responsible for.
It's a loop.
There
It's
is
a
a loop,
loop.
okay,
Yeah,
I
so
didn't
it
know if they
is
had
a
to
loop.
stop back up and.
No, so I'm not sure which way they do it, but they can come down along the apartments, do the one side,
Yeah,
loop around towards the
Polo
mess,
field.
not the mess hall. Yeah, the mess hall, and then come back.
The way he took me in is.
So
you're
it's like
coming
down by
off
Mike
from
Campbell's.
Mansfield,
Yeah.
and you know where the trail is behind it. He's gonna go behind the building. So you're gonna go down behind the building,
yeah.
all the way down and around by that
Mess hall.
next, yep.
Yep.
And then you're gonna come up to that stop sign and you're gonna go back. So it's literally gonna be a loop. But it's not a super big piece of it.
Right,
But it doesn't look like they're gonna have to go and back up.
Yeah,
It
the-
looks like he's gonna be able to do it in.
Like Roadways Inc. still owns in like in between the gym and the hotel, down past the marina, up around the backyard of Sarah's and up into. It's access
Apparently
road for all the
it's-
apartments
Yeah,
and stuff.
apparently often enough where it needs to be plowed, cause I asked the
Yeah.
same question. I'm
Right.
like, it's behind the building. Why are we plowing back here? But apparently people use
My
it.
question would be, what about the road in front of the red old building barracks?
We
Yep,
don't
so
own
once you get down to there, that's a private roadway again. So previously, all of the barracks roads were owned by Madison Barracks Roadways, which is a LLC owned by the Lawlers that's separate to their development company. And they plow that and like I pitch in from the hotel side and some of the apartment complexes, some years will pay and some years they don't. That's why Fort Pike has been doing their own road maintenance because they stopped paying. So Lawler said, like, we're not gonna plow your road, your piece of the road if you don't chip in. And so that's partly why that section has been difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
Yep.
does, but we don't, it's not the village responsibility, thankfully.
Yeah.
Except for that one part of it.
the long and short of it is if we did decide we wanted to take it over, every other resident in the village who doesn't live on there would, well, enough of them would probably bring a lawsuit because it'd be like, we can't take on $1 million in debt to fix Fort Pike's
And
apartment
that's what,
road.
those roads all.
And it's an expensive process to get it up to code, which is why they only did the section that they legally had to for the subdivision. So they did that piece of the road so they could sell those lots as individual parcels. They can't do that with the rest, or they won't do that with the rest without some sort of financial incentive, which we don't have the ability to give them. And like, it's kind of a long story, but the basic idea is unless everyone over there cooperates, it's not gonna change in the near future. So we keep, people keep patching it and it's a slow transit road. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
at least the people on that, I know have a good.
All right, move on to Officer Gleason.
Okay, you have my report ideally in front of you.
Yes, sir.
Pretty standard stuff. There was only a couple criminal complaints, a few assists. We participated again with Shop of the Cop this year through the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. And I think they took 62 kids from the police station on Waterman Drive in the emergency vehicles, running lights and sirens all the way up to Walmart. And each kid got $275 to shop for themselves, their siblings, their families, whatever they wanted to do. And then we did a visit with Santa and Mrs. Claus and went over to Sam's Club and had a pizza party. And then the kids got a gift bag over there with like a winter coat and some other goodies and a stocking in it. So that was the highlight of the month. We also assisted with the parade, the Christmas parade in Sackets. And other than that, not too much exciting, luckily.
All right.
Sounds good.
Any questions or?
Nope.
Okay.
Thanks,
Sounds
Sean.
good. Yep.
Anything from the fire department? Oh. What do we got next? Heritage area, David.
Yeah, you should have my report too. The main thing I've been working on is getting all the documents to close out the second LWRP grant and get our money back, and I'm real close to that. I wanted to get in last week, but it looks like it's gonna be this week. I'd like to thank Linda and Brandon helping me pull everything together. So-
Is Johnny working with you on that too, or was he just DRI stuff?
Really, it's mostly stuff we have to do here, and
Cool.
pulling stuff out of files and that sort of thing, so. But he's
Nice.
gonna help me write, there's a write-up and he's gonna help me do that.
Great. So the DRI all was submitted. We're supposed to hear by the end of the year, right?
Yeah, I would guess it won't be by the end of the year, but who knows?
Okay,
They're usually, longer than they say, but
cool.
we may, yeah. we may.
All right. Yeah. I think we stand a good shot, so. Cool. Any questions for Dave, guys? Kathy, tell us about this deck.
Right now, our contractor fell off a roof back in October. He is now gonna have shoulder surgery. He is out of commission through at least another 6 weeks.
Okay.
He is going to get with Lynn to talk to him about if there needs to be any stabilization for the porch roof to survive the winter. And then he's gonna have to start in the earliest that he can in the spring.
Do we want to find another person? Because it's been a year.
It's 50% deposit and it's not in our budget anymore. To pay anybody else. Still do have a check made out that he's the second.
All right.
He already took that 50%, right?
Took the 50%.
Yeah.
We offered to refund it a while ago. We could ask for it back, but then we would have to go again and try and. We do have 2 other quotes. I would imagine by this point, they probably would go up in price. But we have 2 other quotes that we could look at.
He's locked into the price that he gave us, right? He can't raise it after the fact.
No, I don't think.
I
so.
would assume no, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
So
He took the job knowing that that was the price that we were gonna pay.
He's got until, I know he's got until April.
we planned on April
Yeah.
last year, so. Have you had a conversation with him about like, we need a refund if we're not your next gig? Like, because like we can't keep getting backseated,
Right.
like, if he's got pushier clients than us.
we are the 2 bids and
No, I understand that, but when would they be able to take it on?
Well, we don't know that.
That's joined their,
Yeah.
well, it would probably be the back of the line month.
Yeah, I mean, it was a year ago, so they'd reprice us for sure. So if he'll do it, it's almost certainly the cheapest. The question is just like,
As well, if we wanted to, because he had been the one to point out to Lynn that the porch deck actually needed replacing as well, not just the roof. So the reason his quote was chosen was because he was doing the most work and it was the most expensive, but he and Lynn determined that needed to be done.
okay,
So if we were going to go with someone else, we would have to get them to redo the quote.
Sure.
To
Okay.
redo the deck as well.
all right, let's,
Let me put a plug in here. 'Cause
Yeah.
He did our house.
okay,
He's wonderful.
okay.
He's really.
Did he fall off your roof? Right. All right.
No, but he does.
Okay. I just don't want to keep getting backseated. So on the off chance we're being the nicest let's try to be a little more pushy so that if he's getting other clients just nagging him to jump the line, that
Yeah,
doesn't
I would-
happen
I
again.
would ask that the first project he is able to start working on, that is us. Otherwise, we would ask for a refund of our money because it
Yes,
needs to be
I've
done.
told him that at the latest, it needs to be done by the time that we would be opening in May.
Yeah.
And so at this point, he thinks he can do that, but
I mean, as long as he's, I mean, if he starts on it such that it's being done by, Sure.
So it shouldn't, once he actually is able to get there and start, it shouldn't take months
Okay.
on end.
I would just maybe ask for assurances that we're the first job he's going to do when the season opens up for him to be able to doing it again. And that the board has said,
yeah,
if that
I-
can't
I like
happen,
that.
that we're probably gonna have to refund and rebid it out
Okay.
yeah.
and try that.
Okay.
But if he can assure that we're the first job, then I'd say stay.
Okay.
I don't,
I can do that.
he might do something.
Yeah, I think that's good.
The only other thing I wanted to point out is since I wrote the report till now, I actually did get a third quote, from, local seamstresses for new curtains for our, for the visitor center. Irene Musser is gonna be the cheapest quote. She's writing something up, I don't have it yet, but I don't know if it's I need to submit that to you probably for you to be able to approve that though, right?
What are we looking at price wise?
So I've heard from 3 people, and written from one, hers is 500.
Oh, yeah, you're okay. We can pre-approve that. No, you're good. Yeah, well, written's nice, but under, that's fine. Yeah, what did we do? 2,000, was it? We moved it, but still, that's
Budget allowance for this year.
1,000. Yeah. So 1,000 is basically you were supposed to vouch for getting quotes, but we don't need you to prove it if it's under 1,000. You just say, yes, I did get quotes. I went with either the lowest or here's why I didn't. So you're fine.
Okay.
Provided it's like in your budget numbers too. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Sounds good. Great. Tell her to stay off roofs.
And also just, I know they're not here, but I wanted to thank DPW for continually plowing us out and also decorating the visitor center because it helped to look nice for Christmas celebration.
Awesome. Any questions for Kathy, guys? All right, planning board, we don't have Janet here or on. There's quite a few on here. One thing I wanted to bring up is her, like, there's 3 arrows at the bottom. With the tent, which we discussed, like, that's on our kind of winter task list to kind of come up with how we want the zoning law to handle that, because we can't keep putting it on the planning board. One thing that came up was there's 3 emails that were anonymous and likely from the same person, because they were like generic name at gmail.com and used very similar language and were sent within. Anyway. Janet would like our policy and the planning board's policy to be the same, and I think it makes sense that we should not be considering anonymous input with the same gravitas as named and stood by input. We don't want to completely disregard anonymous, because I do think it's not a bad thing to let somebody say like, hey, like, I don't want to go on record here, but this person's doing something like blatantly illegal. Because Jim is generally relying on input from people before he doesn't like patrol every house, right? And we don't necessarily want to completely ignore anything that's anonymous, but I think especially when we're talking about discretion, where you're asking the neighbors for input, I don't think we should allow, because the thing is, we can't verify that it is a neighbor. It could be somebody you pissed off 5 years ago, or a competitor to your business who's not even from town saying, I anonymously hate this thing. And I think that it makes sense for us to verify that this is coming from someone.
I didn't realize that we actually accepted anonymous.
Well, they read it into the record.
Oh.
And they discussed whether or not they should, but they didn't have a rule, so they just said, we're doing this, but we're not sure. And then that's why this is coming up. So I
Would
think,
we as a board here read something into the record if it was done anonymously?
I think it can be, so I like how they phrased it, which is that like, it can be read and considered, however, should not be part of the official record, is what they stood on. And so I think that's a reasonable policy until it becomes a problem. We can I mean, Craig, was that,
That's how it came.
you guys kind of
Well,
were pretty,
listen, but anonymous or not, but if, the suggestion was if the person wants it to be part of the public record, then it needs to be an
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
unknown,
Yeah.
well, because otherwise it could be just like,
just like.
with those kids that logged in and started yelling on the Zoom call we had to ban, who were like, yeah, you have no idea who it is or what their motive is. Cool. I don't think we need to like officially make that a policy, but I just wanted to make sure we all were on the same page. Any other questions on the planning board report there? All right. On to engineering.
Great, be a short one. Market Square Park project, so the village was eligible for almost $12,000 in administration costs. Which was pretty easy. This came up, I think, several months ago, and we agreed to put something in. So it finally came up. I think Dave Altieri is kind of working on, it has to be signed off within the FEMA system.
Okay.
So I think Dave's reached out to.
Yeah, I've got something for you to sign.
Okay. Do I have to log into the thing or just paper?
Yeah.
I can,
You have to log in
Okay.
and sign.
let me know.
But I've got something for you to sign so you can be authorized. to sign.
Ah, sure. Yes, of course.
So hopefully that'll be. Yeah, so.
The promise ring of contracts.
Pretty soon. Everything's submitted to FEMA for the remaining disbursement, so
Okay.
it's just a kind of a black box that goes in, and there's several layers that I've discovered that it has to go through, so, but everything's submitted. Brown Shores Road, project is complete and final ready. Disbursement has been received by the village in October or in November. Let's see here. Water sewer upgrades on the streets. So there's an individual who will be conducting it's kind of like a wetland delineation. Weather dependent. I don't know with the snow that we've got, maybe they can't do it, but that's kind of in the works too. They have to have, the project has to have a buffer and.
This is specifically over at Ambrose.
No, this is for the water sewer project.
Potential project, the one that we're,
Potential project.
there you go.
Oh, the other streets as well.
Yes.
I see. So we need to delineate more than just the new.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there used to be a mapper through DEC where you could go to and it would tell you kind of if you were in the realm of a wetland, but now it has to be delineated. The mapper's kind of for reference.
Okay.
It has to be.
This is they go and like pick the species.
They determine where the
Yeah.
actual.
This is outer East Main Street, right?
believe
Right
so,
at the
yeah.
village limit.
Yes.
Mhm.
And for the 1812 estate subdivision, we submitted some information to Department of Health. They had some comments, so we're addressing the comments.
Okay.
And working with Dave, try to get the LWRP grant paid.
It's a lot of work to get the money back. Cool. Let's see. Are you guys planning to have something for the planning board for the 1812 estates, the Ambrose Street this month, or is it gonna get pushed to next month?
I don't believe this month,
Okay, cool. We can wait to go over it then.
but I can definitely check with Corey.
Okay. I think that was the plan when we talked. Do you remember, Greg? Was it the? Yeah, okay.
Kind of like a formal plan that would.
Yeah, in order to basically, I think it's like the first meeting with the planning board for the subdivision. It's, but I think what I remember from the LDC meeting was we were gonna push it. But I just wanted to make sure you weren't planning to present it for this. I guess Carolyn's not here either, so, cool. And then we have the Marcellus thing too, right? So that. Oh, this is the change order, so this is already done. Okay. I wasn't sure if this was the closeout paperwork. Did we go over this last meeting where they agreed to, there was some issue with the lawn, basically the berm that will prevent like high water from washing away the soil the like, what was it called? The retaining mesh
Yes,
was kind of not done super correctly. Lynn thinks that we were concerned that it would prevent him from being able to mow it. He's less concerned. Marcellus had thrown out a number, I think it was like 20,000. They wanted to be paid additional to fix the thing that they screwed up. Rather than hold the whole project up,
I think I remember this.
We-
Lynn was saying that he didn't need them to do the planting and whatever.
yeah, Lynn
Okay.
and
yeah.
Brandon and Corey and I walked it.
Then it goes down, then you plant your grass seed into it, and when it grows, then it keeps everything together from
So
washing
that it doesn't-
away. There were some ripples
Yeah.
in the mesh where it didn't quite.
Lynn wasn't overly.
Yeah, basically we said we could hold them back the like 20 or 30K we had left as the retainer and make them wait until spring and then see if it cost us money and then charge them. But that holds their bond open for 6 months. And I said, look, if you guys just want to comp us the 10K that we think is a conservative estimate is what's going to cost Lynn to fix if it goes poorly, then we'll just close it out now. And they said, okay. So I think that covers us and that means we can close the project out sooner, but I don't,
Looks like you already signed it anyway.
I wasn't sure if we talked, so this is the change order. Yeah, maybe we did talk about it last
You
meeting.
might have. I remember this conversation.
Okay,
but I
great.
don't remember
Cool.
seeing the change order
I
before.
believe that's the over under change order. So that's
Perfect.
what raised the.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure we didn't skip that. Anything else? Any questions for Brandon?
Nope.
All right. Peg,
We haven't anything major to report other than the fact that we still have no water bills. The Eldorado program is extremely frustrating and I'm just reading its design. And, the mayor has been working on some background stuff, trying to get information out of it, and I don't care if it has to be done in pink crayons, it's going out soon. So we're working on it.
When does it
Okay.
normally go out in December? Cause I've had people asking me, so can we send out something?
Following here, but it usually, it goes out the first 2 weeks of December.
Okay, so
Okay,
we're within that
still
window.
in that-
yeah, it's just that people have seen it be squirrely last time, so they're
They are asking.
nervous.
Just didn't know if we could
Yeah.
have an estimated time where we thought
I
it would
don't
go out.
want to give another estimate
I know.
because,
I just don't want them to get hit with too much.
Privately, I think we can get it done by the end of the week and we can talk about it now. I was gonna do it in my thing, but essentially each time we hit a roadblock with Eldorado, I figure out how to fix it. It takes a couple days of debugging. We get it done, and then the next layer is just as broken. So I've probably put in 50 hours the last month. Peg and Carolyn have done probably more. It is a exercise in self-control not to break the computer. It routinely will just not let you log in for an entire day. It crashes, it doesn't take updates. We finally got the read data in and it just wrote the data as the old read as well. So now Eldorado has the current read, but it shows usage is 0. Now we have the old usage, but there is no way to edit it in their software. It looks like there is. You can hit reverse and it shows the correct data. You hit save, exit, go back. It just pretends to do all this and does nothing.
How did I feel like they owe us some money back, right? Don't we pay them for a contract?
We do,
Like malpractice.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
That
I'm happy
aside
to
from
fight
getting
that,
the- right.
but right now my concern is getting billing out.
Part of
I,
it-
go ahead.
part of my concern is not picking them to the point where we don't have access to our data.
I don't think legally they can do that.
It's hard to, so couple things. Let's see what you guys think you have your meeting tomorrow?
We have a meeting.
On Monday, okay. You think they may have pulled the data they need? Let's find out. But regardless, we will have to keep using them to keep any new meters in the system. But the long and short of it is, if I don't have to work with their system, I am confident I can get the office what they need to send billing. I have what I need in terms of the read. before, the read now, what that means for a bill, and I just need to generate the PDF for them to print. I have talked to Belinda about how we can track that. It's basically a Google sheet, but what's nice about a Google sheet is anyone who edits it, it is logged who edited it and when, and we can undo changes if there's a problem. We can't even do that with Eldorado at all. And so my plan is to do that. It will only take me a couple hours, and because I'm not working with software I don't have control over, I'm confident that it's not like a maybe I can do it. It's, I know I can, and it doesn't depend on them. The only issue, or well, Peg had suggested we try to get Eldorado to do it on the back end. They're very unresponsive. I'm happy to do that, but I want to do both so that if they come through and it's all clean, hooray, we'll push it the old way. But if not, I don't want to not know that for another 4 days and then have to start. So my plan was just to take the data we have and export basically our own billing template that prints on the same paper.
Same thing we did last time.
Well, no, it's the same thing we did last time, except last time we did get it into Eldorado
Oh.
and printed. This time it wouldn't be. It may be more annoying or not when it comes time to export things to Edmonds, because if the data was clean in Eldorado, they could just download it, but it isn't already. There's like, and I don't think we have a hope to make it work. It's very easy for me to get the current read off everyone's meter out of census into an Excel sheet. That's trivial. I can do that every day if I want. Getting that data back into Eldorado is a Sisyphean nightmare. It's honestly almost amusing how bad the software is at this point. It will like not load during certain times of the day. It'll lock you out for an hour. If one of us is in there, the other one can't log in. If you close it the wrong way, it thinks it's not closed, so no one can get in. Peggy can't log in without opening a private browser now, which is like, it doesn't make any damn sense. It loads basically a virtual computer that's running like Windows 98, and then we're operating in it, and it's really, really terrible. So the current plan is to do our own tracking system until Edmonds can get in. And we'll try to get Eldorado to like incorporate the updates as well, but if not, we're just gonna have to track it manually. But there is no added workload for the office compared to what they're doing now. It's just that the Google Sheet will turn on when you open it, and Eldorado may or may not. So it should only be easier for them to use it, and it just might make an extra step when we're integrating with admins that they have to pull data from two places.
Then they will be able to take that data that you've got Edmonds there.
Right.
And put it on these.
Right, and if they need it in a certain format, we can move the columns around, we can do whatever they need, but
The only problem is that the Eldorado program is the program right now that contains all of the meter numbers.
yes.
All of the MXU numbers, all of the, unless,
We can export all that, and when you make changes, we can have you do it in Eldorado and then also look at typing it into the Google Sheet as well.
we can take a lot of that information directly from census.
Yep.
But there are some things like the history
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
cannot supply.
Yeah, but,
We patch together a new program again,
yes.
so.
But what I'm hearing you say is you think the water bill will be sent out.
We have the numbers we need. We can send it, but Peg has 20 that she needs to review that we think. I guess if no one uses water for 3 months, it can run backwards 2 gallons.
Mhm.
So like normally if it's 10,000 now and then 3 months from now it's 2,000, that means we replace the meter and we bill them 2,000. But if it's 10,000 and it's 9,999, then it likely means it just ran backwards a scooch, and the way I have it programmed, we'd be billing. So she just needs to review like 20 accounts to fix issues that she already knows, and then all the rest are ready to go.
And they'll be billed for a normal cycle this time.
Yeah, like from the end user perspective, it's like they're getting billed for their usage, and it's 1 quarter and not weird.
Okay.
So.
And did everyone who had the double bill and asked for payment, all of that worked out and everybody was okay? Did we lose any
Much.
income from people not being able to do that?
We always have people
No, I know, but more than usual, I should say.
I think that it's about.
Okay.
Yeah. We did have some people, press the envelope a little bit.
Yeah.
So that, concessions for, oh, we want to make one more in December, we're not going to do anything. Whatever, but we'll do for them, and just see them.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's.
Can I ask that if it's not gonna go out by a certain date, that you let the board know? I feel like we need to
Sure.
tell people. I
Yeah,
don't know what that
we-
date should be, but
How long does it take you once you have them printed? How long? I mean, that's the real thing, is that if we can get them to print, them stamping them and sending them out might take a day, but it's a known amount. So if I run into any trouble, honestly, if it's not done by Thursday on my end, I'll let you know, but
I would say we can send them on by Friday, but, if it's Monday, don't shoot us.
Okay.
But that's.
yeah, we'll know if there's another hiccup, but I don't anticipate any, because
just
I
wanna
have all
feel
the
like it's
data.
about communicating
Yeah.
it to people, that's all.
The unknown is getting the data that we have, which is already correct and good, into the system that we don't know. And if we just don't do that and we just print the bills from what we have, that is not a maybe problem. It's just a matter of doing it. Like the question is whether it takes me 30 minutes or 90 minutes, not whether I spend infinity time getting nowhere, which is where we've been doing on this
Did we have
old
this
software.
in the previous quarterly?
It was sort of worse. The problem is that our old program,
I was just gonna say,
got
for Hope's
bought.
benefit, we need to tell her that we're
Yeah.
trying to get a new contract, but companies can't take us on for 12 to 18 months, so we are stuck.
we've already signed up with a new
We've already
system.
signed with a new company, but they won't take us on.
So we're kind of walking wounded
So we're-
until then.
Yes, we're like fumbling until we can get a company.
We have a meeting with Edmonds set for Monday, and they are planning to give us a go live date.
That would be
So-
amazing. So hopefully it'll be
So
sooner
we
than that 12 to 18
Eliminate this
months.
problem for next quarter.
That's what we're hoping. I don't know if it'll be that fast,
When does this contract run out?
but we're good.
It's ongoing, but it doesn't matter because
Because we're gonna.
their software doesn't do anything anyway. Yeah, they're definitely in breach.
Yeah, there's.
So we're safe to walk, but
Do other villages and townships have this
I
problem?
think the town was having some problem with their water system too, Brenda told me, but I don't know who you have that does yours. I don't know if it's El Dorado or not.
With a name, I know Port Maine replaced the major spot. The problem that ours was that in the background, it wasn't something talking.
Gotcha.
it's similar. It's a bunch of archaic softwares. Each one does a small piece. So one piece of software reads the radios and like logs that. And that thing says like radio 65 has X gallons, but it doesn't log like who owns that radio, where it is, when do we build them. So that is a separate piece. Our previous provider that was fine loosely, it was I would say HBO, it's HB Max. See, that's why, because it's HBO. So I'm not crazy. It's almost the same. So it was HB Max. They got bought by a competitor who basically shut them down and said, you have 60 days to move to our other software and it's 3 times the price. And we were like, absolutely not. We'll
Second guessing that because.
look around.
But did take advantage of them, because it was easier for the
Yeah,
transition.
yeah.
And they're all leaving.
Wow, that's a good thing to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah, on the one hand, the decision we made ended up being a disaster. On the other hand, the alternate also was terrible for everyone else. So
The
Lose,
the
lose.
town uses, a program that we used years ago, in with this, Waterworks. And, it is an old program, and it's DOS-based converted.
Oh, that
and
is old.
Doesn't talk to the meters.
And that's the problem that Brenda
Yeah.
has, doesn't talk, and they,
Right.
so the guy at Waterworks has to recreate the file that will talk to the software.
Well, yeah, we went through this, and yeah.
that was, we thought that was our problem. And I spent, yeah. No, don't dig. If it's working, just let it be. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I'll let you guys know if there's any hiccups, but my plan is to have them the printable reports on Thursday and then they can print and start stamping and mailing and
Okay.
doing the the actual like sending out, but that is, once they're printing correctly, then we're good.
Thank you for that. Paul.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right, anything else from the office or any questions for Peg? Okay. Community orgs. Sorry, I missed your shindig. How'd it go?
Actually went really well considering the weather.
Yeah, I ended up, I went to my grandmother's and by the time I left, I was like, I'm not sure it's still running and I didn't wanna.
Yeah, we do have a concert, so the band's all booked for next.
Oh, you do? I actually have two people who are asking to be put in touch with you, so you'll have lines,
Yeah, we gotta wait.
that's awesome.
Yeah, contacted by a lot of bands or people referring.
Yeah. Good. You guys, I mean, honestly, like you might want to consider, it's been like 3 years since September has even seemed like fall at all. If you ever want to extend it into September, you got bands, so.
There's a little fatigue.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Right.
Because we talked about that and earlier in June.
Yeah, earlier has been squirrely. Like we've had Memorial Days that are 80 degrees and then like a 30-degree
Yeah.
June
this is
week.
June.
Yeah. Cool. No, those are fun. I don't think we have any other community orgs on. Guess nothing from the chamber that I know about. Oh, well, sort of. This is sort of me and Margaret more than, but I just let the chamber know, we are trying to do a village-wide wedding expo. Driven mainly by our venue and Margaret's ballroom on Memorial Day. So idea is places like the Old Stone Chapel or the churches or restaurants can either ask for vendors or not. We're going to try and recruit vendors to come, just like a normal wedding showcase. But the idea is to have people wander around. It's already a busy weekend. But that's something that I just got the chamber involved with, and we'll probably, I don't know that we'll need an event application because I don't think we're asking for any public space, but I want everyone to be aware of it anyway. So if you know anybody, what's that?
Would you be bandstand?
Well, I think we don't want to use it as much as we want you guys to showcase it. So like, it'd be cool if we set it up as like, sell some weddings for, because the bandstand is a nice, like, it's a much more affordable location for a ceremony. Same thing with this chapel. Then like, when Margaret or I host an event, it's like it's the dinner, the dancing, the whole thing. So we want people to like see all the different things up. So if like the village doesn't have the bandwidth to like set it up, then like maybe Margaret or I would help. But I also want like state parks to like talk to people who want to look at their gazebo out on the battlefield or like whatever their ceremony rules are. So I do want to try and get as many groups involved as possible. It's 6 months away, which is like 0 minutes in event time. But this isn't like something where it's a little like, a couple hundred couples is amazing. It's not like an event where we need 5,000 people to be successful. So I'm hoping it won't be as much of a lift as like our major events, but.
Could maybe pre-position a few of our nicest folks on the P heads, so it gives a nice background.
Be cool, yeah. Good picturesque, if the ice is gone. It's forming early this year. We might actually get a fishing derby. All right, I don't think we have anything else from community organizations. We'll move to board reports. Mostly did mine with the billing. And we talked about the access control for the ARPA purchase. The only other thing I had was sort of open question. I don't think I have enough to dig into it now, but I got word that our neighbors just outside of Morges Beach, that's like the first town in Hounsfield, the Perrys, are looking to rebuild and they wanted to connect to the village water. I don't know if we ever conveyed the village to the line that goes down to our camps and houses, but we are connected to village water now. It's been 20 years, I think. There was talk at Nabi about paying in the town to connect from like Route 3, and it's very expensive. I believe our water line is enough to route, instead of having to go from Route 3, we already did the Route 3 to the shoreline. And if Howe Shores and Vance Shores and Nabi Knoll and Silver Shores, I always get them in the wrong order. all wanted to join. I don't know what the process is for the village, if it has to be through the town or if the village can like, because we sell water to 7-Eleven, for example, and they're outside of the town or outside of the village. And they don't buy it from the town, they buy directly from us and they have their own meter. So, but they paid for a private line. So I'm gonna start digging about it to see like what the process is so that if those shore communities want water, that we go about it the right way, and either it's through the town as a new water district, or if it's a private water line that we have to like negotiate with them, that we do that, but you know, at this point with the new intake, I'm sort of hoping we can bring in more customers to amortize the cost of the plant. Cause we have the capacity to make like double the water we're using now. And I think at this point, we're waiting to see who replaces or when Joel Bartlett's done at the town, because I don't think he's going to take on any major project now. So we might be kind of treading water, as it were, on that side. But I will update you guys if I hear anything. But I asked Peg, and none of us are super sure on the process. So if you hear about me digging around and asking people and talking to our attorney and talking to the town board and seeing what their take is on it, that's what's going on.
Okay.
That's all I have, unless anyone has questions for me. Cool. Billy?
I have nothing. The fire department, their foul play was good. So.
Cool.
That's all I got.
Craig?
Just a couple of things that, been on our plate. I think it's fairly low hanging fruit, but, you know, in the interest of trying to prevent these things from accumulating, I thought I'd, just mention them. One is the fireworks. And you got some, feedback from ChatGPT. And there were a couple options.
I just had it pull state law so that we could
Yeah,
see
and
what
I mean,
happens when a
seems-
community doesn't have an option.
Right, it seems, I don't remember what option it was, but it was
Basically, it was
fairly
it
straightforward.
was barring any local law, it defaults to the state rules or the county rules. And in our case, for Class C, the county rules are he files a piece of paper. Some communities make their own form. Others have said, our rule is when you file it with the county, also file it with us so we have some oversight. And I think that's the easiest one.
Yeah.
So that we just get notified ahead of time. We have the ability to say, we don't think this is a good.
I think the second option left that up to the fire department.
I
They
think
got to
the
decide.
application was
Yes.
routed through us to the fire department.
Sure.
And
That is
of course,
correct.
Joel was here
Yeah.
last.
So they always do have discretion, but they need to be given a longer heads up, because I think they legally have to be given a heads up, but at the county level, there's no time limit. And so we wanted to say, hey, we want this form 30 days in advance,
That was-
and the fire department needs to see it then, so that if they do have an issue, there's time to.
Fix it, rearrange it.
Yeah,
do
exactly,
whatever
without
they
just
need to.
being like, because nobody wants to like last day say no,
Right.
if it's marginal, but
So
they
if
should
we
have
go that
discretion.
route, based on what Greg said, do we need an internal policy to know that if and when someone's like, cause in this last situation, nobody knew.
Yeah,
So,
so I think
and
we
that
need a
is-
fireworks law to make that required. Because the first, so this,
I thought, doesn't it default to the New York State law?
it does, but the New York state law has nothing to do with us. It doesn't require, like, in order for us to say you have to check in with us, we just need a law that says you have to do the form with the state and the county. Send us that same form 30 days before your event for local.
And we would need a law to say that.
I
in
think
order to
so,
get it
yeah.
30
Yeah,
days
and
ahead.
then-
Okay,
Otherwise, we're just relying on someone to know that we have this like unwritten rule, which they have no legal reason to comply with. I mean, in the case of the last two, they were both sort of my fault. One was a wedding of mine, and I did ask and look through, and the answer is that for Class C, which is much cheaper than what we do for Can-Am and for the 4th of July, there is no local requirement. And the reason that, even for the other ones, there isn't. The reason that we're involved at the village level is we are the customer in both cases. In the state's case, we're part of it, and in Can-Am, we're 100% the customer. But apparently, there is no requirement for fireworks shows.
legal. So the fact that there's no
Well,
requirement.
you have
kind
to
of
permit
surprises
them.
me.
Yeah,
Okay.
the permitting is at the county and state level, and if you file all that, which Al does, there's no requirement to talk to the municipality unless it has its own law, which we do not. And then the other one was through the school with Cheryl, and I helped her with that too. So, that said, it's not, I'm sure someone else besides me will do fireworks one day, and I will happily run it by everyone in advance, but we probably should make it a legal
It can be
requirement.
just like a one page, this
Yeah.
is what our.
Yeah, and then we.
Just like a resolution
would
that
share
says
it with the
local
fire
law.
department.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that they have a chance to review it for their
Right.
own concerns.
Right,
Because the county doesn't do that.
right. I don't think it needs to be any more complicated than that.
Okay.
No, and I don't think the fire department wants it to be more complicated. They this
Just-
last particular incident, it
Okay.
was literally maybe 48 hours notice, and they are volunteers.
And
They're
that
not
was
paid people to
Probably
be like,
word of
oh,
mouth, I mean, that was.
and it was word of mouth.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, and it is, I mean, it's Al's job to he has insurance, he's supposed to make sure that he doesn't screw it up either, but these guys are gonna have to deal with it if there is an issue, so they should, and they're more aware of the sort of circumstantial risks than Al is, because he doesn't know the area like they do. So,
Then.
Yeah, it's easy.
Done deal.
yeah, I think
We
I can,
don't currently, or.
I can have Burroughs draft if you guys want,
Yeah,
just a simple
very simple.
one pager that
I
says,
think it could prevent something. I mean, we're lucky that nothing has happened. I don't
Yeah.
want anything to happen. I just don't want a liability on anybody
It's
to have
like
it.
the timer that you would have on this front desk here that says you have 3 minutes to talk. I mean, then you don't, everybody
Yeah.
has to submit for.
no, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause it could become, I mean, you might have started something that becomes very popular.
Listen, I mean, not for
Well,
nothing,
you
like,
might.
when I found out what it cost $2,500 for a 2-song show for the wedding. I was like, if I have a wedding every Saturday, I would guess 50% of people would go for that.
Mhm.
I don't know, like, to me, I like fireworks. My dogs go bananas and I just deal with it. I give them a Benadryl. I'd rather do that than not. I know a lot of people don't like them.
Mhm.
I don't know what the frequency of fireworks would have to be before people started getting really pissed off. I don't know.
I just know
'Cause-
that night, people, and again, social media is not a great place, but that's where everybody goes to complain. And that's
Right.
like, what's going on? Who did?
Yep.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
don't know.
in the fall, one of the nice things about, we've talked about doing more winter shows, because it's like, you can do it at 6 o'clock when all the little kids can
I
see
just
it,
think that we
and
need
it's
to-
not waking up anybody.
Yeah.
In the summer, by the time it's dark, it's 10:30.
Right. That's-
When we had the one for the wedding, Nate messaged me and he's like, what the heck? He's like, I would have kept the kids up to watch out the back window. You should have told me. They're already asleep.
It's very dry.
Oh yeah, if there's a burn ban, like Al's, so in order to do it, the person has to be licensed and they have to file permits and they have insurance. So it's not like Yosemite Sam throwing dynamite here. Like he has a business and has business liability insurance and all the rules. And he does have to file a plan with the county. If there's a burn ban, he can't do it, all that. This is just saying, additionally, we would like a heads up so that our fire department has enough time to look at it. That's all.
Yeah.
And I think a 30-day heads up is easy. In the case of the school fundraiser, we didn't think of it until about 3 weeks before, so we wouldn't have been able to do it, but that's fine. That's a reason to think ahead. So if that loose plan is what makes sense, then I can have Jim Burrows draft a resolution for us to look at either next month
Yeah,
or,
that sounds like.
yeah, he might be, actually, yeah, it'll be, our next meeting is February, so it should be done by then.
Great.
Yeah,
Cool.
cool. I think it's an easy one.
Easy one.
I heard you say low-hanging fruit earlier, and I was wondering what it was about, but
Did
I do think that's an
Did I
easy-
use it?
Yeah.
yeah,
you
well,
did.
when you were
You
telling
like
them,
that.
I walked
Oh,
out of the room for a second and I came. But yeah, I agree. I think that's an easy one.
It's
Okay. The other one was the flag policy, which we've been carrying for a couple.
Back and forth,
more than a
yeah.
couple, 3-4 months now. Sarah kicked it off and you had some comments. I think Kelly blended the two and.
Yeah.
We got close.
I think the main point of question is, well, actually, I thought I replied to the group from Dean's comments, and I'm perfectly fine if the thing is happening after a meeting.
Mhm.
Like if it's scheduled for 2 months from now, great, let's have it. We can vote on it, fine. But if it's like 4 days from now, the state says don't, and the feds say do it, I think we're not going to have a special purpose meeting. I don't mind having it be discussed via email. We're technically not supposed to vote in private. I don't mind saying, here is my plan. if you guys disagree, we can announce a special meeting to have a discussion. If we don't all agree it's a reasonable, most of the time it should be fine. The issue is we can't have a policy that says we're gonna do it whenever the feds say and whenever the state says. That would already have been a problem because they already disagreed on the Charlie Kirk situation.
Right.
So we can't follow both. We have to pick one. Legally, we're a subdivision of the state. So in theory, if we were going to auto follow, it would be state only. I also generally, I don't love the idea because whatever we do, we're gonna get roped into it if it's political. So I think if that's the case, I would like local discretion to say, this seems like not the somber intent of a non-political, like, moment of silence. I don't want to sign on to political argument that we're gonna get, like, regardless of who's the person pushing.
That's what makes.
But
it-
again, the state and the feds already did, right? So we have one case, the only case we have an example for lowering the flag is a
Hot button.
non-elected official gets killed, the president says, lower the flag for him, the state says, we're not doing that.
So then
So
we
we-
just need to choose. There, in no case, in my opinion, is it acceptable for you to be the sole decision.
I don't need to be, but if I don't like the idea of it being not the whole thing with Clayton being like, oh, we're not gonna do anything. I'm like, that's lazy. Like, don't,
Why?
That's
because
easier,
it's
though.
abdicating,
It's
it's
easier.
abdicating your responsibility to make decisions. It's like saying, oh, why even have a board if you're just gonna say our default is whatever the state says? Like,
No, then you
because they
can
already
make
disagree.
Special interest based on political agenda.
Pretending though that no one else does that is, I think, is
If you keep it
unrealistic.
basic that the Clayton policy is, then it never is an issue at all. It's never special interest, it's just.
That's presuming that you don't think that somebody is, well, these are two separate things. So their flag policy is about which flags you can raise. We already have that established, and I think that is more or less fine, and it is a little bit more discretion than theirs. They say we'll never fly anything at all. We say we have the local discretion to fly something approved by the state. But we won't fly anything not approved by the
That's the
state.
one that's in the proposed policy. Is that what you're saying? 'Cause
No,
we
that's
don't
what
have a policy.
no, we voted on this last year.
Never did.
We voted
No,
on
we
the
don't have a
flag. We did, because you suggested the policy when we
Nothing
did it.
yet. But that's why it came up again.
I'll have to-
Because we don't have a flag policy in place. That's why we
No, sorry. There isn't a policy document like when we reauthorize our policies.
Mhm.
But when we decided to fly the pride flag and we argued about it a bunch.
We didn't decide, that was a you decide.
Yeah.
No,
We had private conversations. You would talk to each of us individually.
I'll have to pull the notes because I was pretty confident that Sarah had specifically said, if we do this, here's what we should decide, here's how we should make it official policy. And I thought the next month we voted, yes, this is what we're gonna
That
do.
was never a public vote to my knowledge. We
Okay.
did have private
All right.
conversations.
It's probably possible.
Definitely, you did talk to us all.
All right, fine.
But like you talked to us all separately and then none of us really circled back to know
Perfectly, yeah.
how that.
I am never gonna argue that my memory is good. So that's fine, but to me, they are a little bit two separate things. One is like, we cannot guarantee that you're like, oh, if we just do whatever someone else suggests, that no one else will ever make it political. I would argue that this was a political thing. That's why the state and the feds disagreed. Someone else can disagree, that's fine. It's in the draft that I put, I did say the policy should be that the purpose of just restating what I believe everyone thinks the purpose of the flag lowering is, which is like a non-political, somber civic moment. If we want to say that we don't want to be having this discussion ever, then yeah, we have to abdicate it to someone else. I think if we say the state, then, at the simplest level, the state is a democratic state, so the local Republicans are going to be annoyed that we do what the state says. If we say the feds, then the local Democrats are going to say, well, right now,
Of course, though, that's gonna happen
Yeah.
regardless of what we do, so we need to as a board, and if we have to vote on it, we have to just come up with something. I don't think having to discuss it every time something comes up is going to be a good use of our time.
Well, it's come up once a year for the
Yeah.
past 2 years, that's it.
Yeah.
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 And
And
we've
The
We
pride
wouldn't
flag
be
and the
advocating our
pride flag.
responsibility if we just made a policy like Clayton's. But at the same time, you're saying don't abdicate responsibility. Well, if we just say, okay, let Alex decide every time, so we don't have to. meet
No,
again,
it's not what
that's the same
the
thing.
intent was like generally we'll follow it. If there's a question, the default should be if we think it's political or not. And I don't mind voting. It's the point is like if it's a 2-day event, right? Where we don't have a meeting, then like we have to have some mechanism to say, hey, check in with everybody. If we want to follow the state, then I think there's a bit of a catch-22 here as to which thing we follow.
I mean, to be honest, Alex, I think is what I was trying to say is the state is, at least from the city, is more of a Democratic. Obviously, I'm a Democrat, so I agree with a lot of them, but not everybody does.
Well, and
And I don't
and
want
that's
to offend someone
temporal.
that doesn't think like me. That's why I'm a little bit more willing to be like, what can we do that will make everyone happy?
Sure.
And not feel like, I don't know, we're choosing sides, if that is the right word. I don't wanna,
Well,
I don't want to make that something.
the functional reality of like our state government has only been Democrat for so long. We've had Republican, we have Democrat presidents, we have Republican presidents. That shouldn't matter for this perspective. It's like if we're concerned with making political statements with something that has thus far not done that, then we have to decide what we want to, like how we want to prevent that. I thought saying, yeah, the goal is don't do that. If it's political, you have the option to say, no, we're not gonna,
I think anything can be perceived
Sure.
political nowadays, so I don't know. The only way to prevent that from happening is to have a set strict policy that just says, these are the things, these are the conditions in which we as a board agree to do it. And then there is no wiggle room. Just to save us.
Sure.
If it's a federal flag, United States flag, not New York flag, why wouldn't our policy just be simple and just follow whatever the United States government says to do with it, just for that?
Well,
flag?
that is the law on federal property. It is not the law for, so for example, like legally, the village is a subdivision of New York State. We're not actually required to follow federal law. We are required to follow New York State law. So that's kind of the like, it's not about the US, like the flag itself. Yeah, I understand. I mean, frankly, like, I think the discretion is reasonable to have, whether it's a board or not. I like it's fine, but if you guys don't want to do that, then we have
Is
to.
it possible to write the policy in which certain conditions are, there is no wiggle room, but that we leave a spot that if there is a question, that then a vote happens to at least.
Yeah, I
agree
mean,
that there should not be one person that makes the decision. That has happened the last 2 years. It's been, unfortunately, it's been
Sure.
you, right?
well, the Charlie Kirk thing is I frankly just didn't know about it in time to
Correct,
do
until it's
anything,
too
and
late.
then
And I think in that situation, you were gonna make people mad on either side. I
Yeah.
mean,
well,
both sides were gonna
to
be
be fair,
mad, no matter what happened.
Jay and Mike Tabor texted me within 2 seconds of each other, and it was on 9/11, and I was suspicious that that's not what they were talking about, but we actually did forget to lower the flag for 9/11 because I didn't ask Lynn and Lynn didn't remember. And so I told him like, I'm going to put it in the calendar so that we remember to check in so that you know about it. I kind of expected that that's what they were talking about, but they didn't explicitly say. So I was like, oh yeah, we did forget to put the flag down. And that was my answer to them.
Oh,
But it was already Thursday night. And I was like,
so they were not asking about 9/11. They were asking because it was.
they didn't say it was a Charlie Kirk thing, but I was like, the state's not doing it. I don't really want to deal with this. If Lynn, I kind of put it on, I said, if Lynn decides to do it, I'm not going to argue with him. If he doesn't, I'm not going to argue with him and just leave it as it is. And yeah, I
feel like whoever's president, no matter which side, I'm not picking
Yeah.
sides, and the Congress or the president says.
that is an argument people have made, but yeah,
For whatever reason,
sure.
no brainer, we should just, I feel. Do it.
I feel like though, in that same instance, we lowered the flag for Charlie Kirk, but we didn't for Dick Cheney. So like,
No, we did for dictionary.
we did, but the government didn't.
It is.
Did they?
Yeah, it's official.
Okay.
So like, that's a well-established norm of like, any ex-president or vice president is done.
The president did not lower for Dick Cheney. He
Okay,
did not.
sure, why, all right,
He
well,
did because he was a like, he was a,
That's what you do.
It just seems like.
but that's the difference though. The president didn't do it for a previous vice president when he should have, but didn't
federal.
Or
because
always
he
has.
doesn't
It
like
just- It
him.
just seems like.
but
the
yet-
Opposite of what the federal government does.
Oh, I didn't
It's a
even-
Political statement, no matter what, no matter who, it just seems like.
yeah, but, yeah, so it's the same with the
In
state,
that
so.
particular situation though, Dick Cheney was a previous vice president.
No,
The
that is
rule
a-
is very clear that he's
yeah.
one of those people that we should be doing.
Oh, I didn't even realize that it
He
wasn't
did
voted
not,
federally.
no,
Yeah,
that
okay.
was, he was not recognized during that thing. So I feel like that's where it becomes political and like, how do you navigate that, right? As a Sackets Harbor board, I never thought that would be a conversation where we would have to.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
perfectly happy just telling
No,
people
but
like,
Like Sarah
we
said.
did what we thought we should do.
In the
Eh.
last year and a half.
We've had two
two
situations.
situations.
And at the rate we're going, it could happen.
Yeah, at a certain point, I'm like,
So-
if it really bothers you that much, you can run for office. Like, we're gonna do what we think is the right thing to
Yeah.
do, and but if you guys would like to formalize it, I'm not against it. I just think there's a fundamental impossibility of saying we both do, like in the policy that you sent from Clayton's, there said, we do what the state says and we do what the feds say, and it's like, well, literally not possible as of 2 weeks ago, right? Like that.
So we can use that as a guide and maybe in this situation where they are conflicting, that's where we have to vote. I don't know, like if the
Well,
state
that
and the
could be-
and the federal government are not in.
And that could be the
jive,
language. That
that
could be the
could
language
be-
right there.
Right,
When the Fed,
we're in there.
when the
it's not
Feds and the
just to
state
predict-
are in
Yeah, I mean-
conflict, then it's at the.
Discretion,
of the
yeah,
local-
and
Because based on our policy, when we lowered for Dick Cheney, but the president didn't, are we breaking our own flag rule by doing it when he didn't? That's my only concern. If we say we're only following the federal guidelines and then the president doesn't do it for a Dick Cheney or whoever a vice president might be,
Yeah.
are we then not following our own flag rule because we did do it?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and also I think
Right.
that's like,
I just would like to, at least in that situation, be like, okay, but yes, he was our vice president, so we do need to do that.
sure, I mean,
But we need language in there to allow for that, is what I'm saying.
I don't know, did the state do it at the state
Yes.
level? Yeah, so then
Yes.
there was a discrepancy, so it would have been
Yes.
discretion.
Representatives for
Everyone.
all of
Mhm.
the Sackets Harbor population, so our job is to at least discuss things where there could be conflicting
Sure,
ideas.
yeah.
And so I have no problem, like, if it's something that happens so infrequently, I don't think that it's problematic to have to meet for it.
Sure,
I'm permitting, I mean, I don't think that we're all reasonable people, I don't expect that it would be more than a 20-minute discussion at
Mhm.
most, and I do agree with Kelly that seems like when the conflict would occur, and so if we can anticipate it, we can make it quick.
yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is, in the case that, well, like, at the risk of throwing Ron under the bus, hope we don't know how your text responsiveness is, but we've always been like, oh geez, like, it's hard to like get informal consensus when like sometimes people don't read their email. You guys are not, we used to tease Ron about it a lot, but in the event that it's like the question comes up, it's in a week, we don't have a board meeting between then, I don't think it's practical to say we're having an emergency meeting, which is an official public meeting that needs to be posted on the newspaper to talk about the flag. I think we can just say like, hey, here is my plan, and we can have an informal vote for something like that, where we
think
don't
having
need
a
it to
plan
be,
in place
and I'm perfectly
will
happy
help,
to say publicly who voted which thing, if we don't all agree or we do all agree. But I think like, I would want it written at least like that, and I don't really know how above board a casual vote is for something like
But
that.
I think you could put that in the policy to say, in the event that the federal government and the state government are in conflict, a vote could potentially happen.
Yeah, if we're being
via
discretion,
Zoom,
Sure.
I mean, a vote could
Yeah.
happen via Zoom if we have to, it could be.
There's this flag code, I mean, we're a government agency.
there is, but it's not. There's a reason it's not a clear answer.
Announcement, it did. And, you know. 'cause it-
Oh, I did because I assumed it was, I thought it was a hard and fast rule of ex-presidents, ex-vice presidents. And then like, I think foreign dignitaries and the Pope, it's not official, but they've always done it. But. All right, well, let's do this. I
I
can,
told Sarah that we're punting it till after Christmas. I don't have the bandwidth right now to even deal with this, so we do.
well,
need-
our next meeting where we can vote on it is
It's gonna
February
be a
9th.
budget, so I say we need to plug away at having conversation about looking at the language that's there.
Okay.
We do have a base for a document.
We have 3 versions.
Well-
have
We
the
do,
clear
so
version,
I
the
think we're
one
pretty-
proposed, and then the one that you combine.
To be honest, I think we're pretty close, because I think if we just say, if the state and feds agree, we do what they do. If they disagree, it's up to local discretion.
But we need. a
Voted on at
mechanism for
the,
local
voted on at
discretion.
the
I think
board
that's what
level.
needs to be put.
And if we do not have a meeting between the announcement and the date of the event, we have a informal email vote.
Is
And
that legal?
that's what we do.
We put it.
Because
in
it's not like a
policy.
law, you know what I mean? It's not like we're actually, it's not,
It's not.
we're not
legally
spending money,
binding,
we're
it's
not,
just a
Right.
policy.
like, and
moving
then I
forward.
think like, then I will tell Lynn what the result of the vote is. If there is a public meeting between it, we will have the discussion at the public meeting. I think if that's pretty close to good enough, we write it that way. Let Hope read it, because she hasn't seen our 3 versions, and then if we're all happy with it, we can vote on it next meeting.
Okay.
Because I think that mostly gets us where we are, and then we can tweak the actual language.
What needs to be part of that is, special interest group requests.
Mhm.
That's where we started.
Which isn't
this
in
whole
there.
thing.
Well, because that, then, yeah, like, so the Clayton policy has nothing about that. It's, do we wanna open ourselves up to that, or do we just wanna keep it?
I think Clayton did it on purpose to
Yeah.
not entertain those.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's what they do, is if they get a
They
request.
say no
just
because
say-
it's not in their
Because
policy.
we've already
Yes.
had a request and.
Yes, but, and
So
then
that
I
doesn't
feel like
count.
the second
That's what
year.
I'm saying, but we've kind of,
I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
so
the
this is
second
for
year-
flying cause flags. This is different than the lowering. And
Yes.
that one, there's only 2 options, I think, that make any damn sense. One is, well,
Yeah, it's
no,
all or none.
because you always have, you
Yes.
don't. It is not the same, like, it is not a legal distinction about free speech to say we will magnify every speech or not. We, like the posters that are on that wall that say, pantry donations. We do not have to let someone put Nazi rally tomorrow on that poster. We don't. That's not a free speech violation. And that's established case law. Like there absolutely is local discretion at that sort of broadcasting
But you-
speech.
Very specific in the policy then to keep us from.
I agree.
from having
Well, I think your suggestion was one
information.
option. One option's Clayton's, and the other was from you, which was if the state flies it, we have the option to fly it. So if a local comes up to us and says, we want to fly the pride flag, and the pride flag's being flown by the New York State government, then this board can say yes or no. If they say we want to fly the Don't Tread on Me flag. Yeah, no, I'm saying,
Yes.
But I feel
Yeah.
like that needs to, I feel like the first year we said yes to it, but then I believe that same group was under the assumption that we were gonna do it every year, and I don't think there should be an
no,
assumption. But
they didn't
because
bring it
they-
up to me until the last week of June, and I was like, oh
because
shit,
they-
guys, sorry.
Like, oh, what kind of like waiting
Sure.
for us to do it, and I don't think the onus is on us to
It-
do that. If they want
yeah.
us to do it, then that needs to be a
I-
request
I
needs to be
agree.
made. But
But
I
I
do
th-
think we need something about a special
the other-
interest, either.
Yeah,
I
the,
don't
the
know.
other thing with that is, I mean, it's a month. Do we fly it for a month?
It doesn't matter. I mean, the point is they can request it.
It's the American flag. The way
No,
he
no.
did it, it
Right.
was in addition to,
It was
so.
below, and
Right.
I followed all the
Right.
rules there, but the thing is, we can fly it. My point is, I think if we're going to allow any issue flags, we either allow 0 of them or the ones that New York State flies at all. And if New York State flies them at all, then we have the discretion to fly them at all. And if they don't, we don't. So if they fly a pride flag for a month, we can fly it for a week, a month, or not at all. And it depends on whether someone requests it or brings it up. If somebody comes up with I like to shoot puppies flag, and New York State doesn't post that, then we don't even consider it, right? It's not on the list of things to consider because New York State doesn't fly it as a recognized cause flag for the state. As a subdivision of New York State, I think that makes sense. Clayton said, we're not flying any, stop asking.
The city did the same.
I don't
thing.
love
We're
that. I
getting
think it's a
so
little
many-
lazy.
We don't
Yeah,
have
but-
any requests. I agree with Sarah in a respect that we could be opening the door to be getting more requests which might not be a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that if it happens.
No, I mean, if we're gonna write a thing, we should include both. That's easy enough.
Okay.
And I think, to me, I think there's only real two reasonable options. If you guys have another option, I'd be happy to consider it, but I prefer we have discretion to fly shit that New York State flies. But not obligation, because it's a cause flag, and if no one comes to us asking, we don't, and if they bring it up to us, we vote on it. I think that's fine. The only other thing I think that makes any sense besides just winging it, which obviously no one here is in favor of, is we just do what Clayton did and say we're not flying anything except the flag code, which is US flag, state flag, city flag if we have one, which we don't, I don't think. POW during like 2 holidays, and if a foreign dignitary is in town, you can fly their country's flag below the US flag while they're there, which I guess we could have a Canadian visit. That's the like normal set for federal flag display rules. So I think either that one or the New York State one, if we're not gonna just open the thing and say, we'll consider every and always flag and vote on every single one of them.
To make this an easier process, would it be possible to pick one of those 3 documents, the one document that either I merged or start again from the one Sarah sent us, and make edits into the document? Because it's great for us to have conversation, and what never happens is we sit and we debate and we debate and we talk and talk and talk, and then either we don't vote ever and then we don't move forward, or we just keep talking. So at some point we need to.
Yeah, I don't think this is terrible. I think we're down to what we agree on the flag thing. We just need to write it up.
We do.
But thus far, we have been not in agreement on the actual content. So like, I don't think it's great.
It says we follow New York and federal, and we will meet to discuss if there's
Is a conflict,
discrepancy or
okay.
conflict between the two. And then we fly no special interest flags, and that can be option A, or we will fly special interest flags that New York State is flying if it is requested, and that will be option B. And then
I
we
think
can
that
look
would
at
be-
them all and decide which
Okay.
direction we want to
I
go.
don't think there's any other
I don't know of any. I'm
any
not
other
an
like
expert on the
questions,
flag,
right?
so I
Those are the
can't-
main ones.
So we need to have something in writing.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But I'm saying like, I don't think there's any other questions. Like those are the two. Yeah.
Would, there have been instances in the last couple of years where locally, we've lost someone or.
So, yeah, so we absolutely have the discretion to fly it
But that's also in that.
lower if we want.
Like when the
Okay.
previous, like when
So
Vince
we-
passed away, we could have and
Yeah.
probably should have
Right,
lowered the flag. We're
right.
probably not very good at doing it when we're supposed to be honest. Now, when I look back on that, I mean, we should have for Vince. He was a previous mayor.
Yeah, we can do local, like and that is like a normal thing that said, like the counties and towns can do their own, because obviously like it doesn't carry, it's not, you're not mandating anyone else to do it. So we could include that as,
I think that's already in the draft,
It
is
is.
that we have the ability to do it for local.
For local.
It is, I remember seeing
Okay.
it in there. So it's already in the draft, just make sure that stays in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't think that this is urgent enough where we need to get it done before the holiday. I'm trying to.
Our
No,
next-
I
no, we
don't
can't.
wanna.
Our next vote is,
Agree with you,
These
'cause we-
discussions.
We are in the habit of kicking
Yeah.
things.
our next
down
vote
the road.
is February, so we can just plan to vote on it then.
Okay.
And,
Sure.
and I mean, honestly, we don't need to, I mean, we can talk about it if you want, but like, if we have 2 options, one of them will get 3 votes and the other won't, and we'll be fine. So the question is just like, if you want to draft it and send it around in case we have like nitpicks to like the language, but the bones I think are pretty established.
Okay, so February's behind us.
What's that?
So by February, it's behind us.
Hope so.
February
That'll be
9th
good.
too? Early.
Okay. Good. All right. That's enough for me.
Wow, you were the long one tonight,
Well,
not me.
You guys did all the
We
talking.
follow this order.
We did.
This- I'm done. Peaceful.
Any questions for Greg, guys?
No.
All right. Sarah and Hope, you got a long list for us for your first meeting?
Yeah.
No.
All right. Correspondence, I got the Dank report, nothing funky. Um, Stuff's working good. We have the summer solstice application this year. So as a reminder,
This year, so we don't.
Scott's been on him about it. So 2 years ago, he did an application. Last year, he was just like, oh yeah, I'm just doing the same thing again. And
And never told anyone.
I did not realize he didn't put an application in. And then Peggy said he closed the road for the finish line, just put a thing in the middle of the road and was redirecting traffic on his own.
This time last year,
Yes.
he did it on a Friday night and he closed the road with a
It
stop sign.
is,
Nobody knew.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That is what he did. He put like a sign at the end of the road and said road closed. And people were like, what are you doing? You can't do that.
Honestly, you can do whatever you want. You're right, I guess. He bought John a beer and never the wiser. Yeah, so this year he is actually saying he doesn't need to close the road except for at the start and just to block traffic for a few minutes. And they're gonna have I texted him because I wasn't clear on what he thought about the end. He said they were gonna try and do it on like at the visitor center so that it's not actually closing a road. I don't know if we consider the visitor center parking lot as technically part of Ray Street, but or Bayard, yeah. Do we care if if that is where he puts the finish line?
Just in-
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's part of, I don't know if it's considered part of the road or not. It's a 5K, so I think your fastest. That's what I'm saying. So like the start, like the fastest person's gonna be, 10 minutes, 15 minutes faster than the slow person, so for half an hour.
I mean, it's big and it's the time we're open, so we might have people in the parking lot.
Yeah. Well, he just said that they were gonna have it at the visitor center. He didn't say he needed to have it there, but I asked, are you trying to close the road for that too? And he said, no, just at the start.
I would say if he's not trying to close the road, that he makes sure he's not in the way of people trying to get into the visitor center. And if he wants to use the porch or the front yard, that's one thing, but
Well, they put their little finishing
Yeah.
balloon or whatever it's called. And so, but that can go in there without impeding anybody from getting to or from either side. They don't have any other. They're not doing booze. It's just a run. It's in the morning.
okay, I'll make a motion to approve the summer solstice for June 20th, 2026.
All in favor? Aye. All right, we got one last public comment. We have exhausted the public on Zoom though. They went away. Good job, everybody. We lasted them out. Anybody here have anything? Cool. I will close public comment and make a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. I did it.
Sarah?
Cool.
Sorry about that.
Good.
You're allowed once in a while. Usually it's me.
I tried to have
No.
I tried to argue
I
this out
submitted
via
all-
email. Nobody. All right, so all I have for my to-dos from today is the fireworks law from Burroughs, yeah? Okay. Sweet. All right.